Okay. So, as promised, I am just jumping on to share a little bit of behind the scenes of what goes on in our meeting. Um, so, again, we will discuss your vision for your Moreton Island wedding and how the team can help you bring that together. First, not always. We generally will share locations. In most instances, you've already seen our Moreton Island wedding inspiration. Um, we can go through some pictures to see what kind of vision suits your vision and whereabouts you're staying on the island. So, specifically, when we were talking about if you were coming over to the resort, so either on a day trip or you're staying at the resort, your options would be the north boundary or the south boundary if you didn't have any transport. Nice and easy, short walk to either boundary. You have your ceremony, you can have a picnic after, and then you basically go back into the resort and spend the day celebrating however you choose. Um, Excuse me. So here's some North Boundary inspiration. These guys were so cute. They came over with just their parents and their little boy. They still had the styling set up. They had a gorgeous picnic too. I haven't actually added those photos in, but they had an afternoon ceremony and the lighting was absolutely beautiful. This was captured by Alyssa Washington, and they had the most gorgeous sunset photos. Here's another north boundary. So this is the boundary closest to the Tangalooma wreck. So if we look at here is the resort. So you would come in on this jetty into the resort, and then you've got either the south boundary, which is like a 5 to 8 minute walk, depending on mobility, or 15 to 20 minute walk up to the north boundary, which is perfect. Like if you're staying in the resort and you're getting a beach villa, like you kind of probably want to be north end. If you're coming just for the day or you're coming in on a cruise and you pretty much just want your ceremony and then you want to eat at the cafe and then you want to hop back on the boat, you would probably generally go the south boundary because it's a lot closer. Um, Again, this is where we talk through your vision and we work out what exactly is the style of your day, how you want to feel for your day. Like, do you want to feel rushed or like no one wants to be rushed on their wedding day, right? But we go through all those sort of logistics. So, just a quick sneak peek inside the resort. You have your so you'd come in on this ferry, then you've got like a little resort shop. This is the Deep Blue Apartments. Then you've got these are like the waterfront pavilions that the resort does their weddings in. You've got your main reception. There's a cafe there. There's an B&B bar, which is amazing. And then you've got all your other accommodation options here. So A, B, and C lodge. I've stayed in them. They're perfect for what you need. You've got your Kookaburra Lodge Hotel, and then you've got these beachfront villas. My only suggestion is if you are staying at the resort, there's a couple of houses here. If you are staying at the resort and you're hiring one of their private houses, just be mindful that all these are up like a really, really steep hill. So if you have anyone in your group that has mobility issues and you don't have a vehicle, just be mindful of that. There's like a really steep stairs that goes up. Some of the properties have private buggies, which is amazing. But yeah, just something to be mindful of. We've had a couple of couples being caught out by that. Like if they'd known how far all this is from the resort, they probably wouldn't have booked one of the houses. They would have booked inside the resort, which is all pretty flat level, that sort of thing. Again, these are all things we go through. Like if you've got mobility issues in your group, we want to cater for that. We want to make it as easy as possible for you. Okay, so back to the south boundary. Then we've also got the north boundary, and the north boundary has, depending where you stand on the north boundary, you have the wrecks in the background. A lot of people get caught out and say that they actually want their ceremony at the wrecks, but don't realize that this is like a minimum half an hour, sometimes more walk. Depending when you come over, that's okay. Like winter's okay. The days are beautiful. You've got a beautiful, cool breeze. But in the middle of summer, your group is over it before they even get to the ceremony. Having said that, there are a couple of amazing spots which we've done in here for small groups. And between Claire and I, we've run a couple of cars from the boundary or from the car park up. Same thing with South Boundary. So you've got like the main track that goes to the bypass is near the boundary. So this is perfect for like super small groups. But if you've got like a group of 30 or 40 and you're coming in on the ferries or you're coming in from a cruise or something like that, generally what we suggest is like an extra 10-minute walk. And there's a couple of camp spots here. So if the camp spots aren't taken, we would kind of set up on the beach out the front, giving, the vehicles heaps of room to be able to access, to get around, that sort of thing. Just something to be mindful of. Again, we talk over all these options. There's a couple of little alcoves here. Couple of little alcoves. You've got your Moreton Island Desert, the Sand Hills, and then Tangalooma Point is another popular spot that we do. Being mindful that you need vehicles to get to here or some sort of transport arrangement. Lots of options. And if I just take you for a quick trip around the island, this is the western side, all tide dependent. So you need pretty low tides to get through here. There's a couple of spots where you do get wet. I have been caught out on my way to a 10 o'clock wedding. My car went through water. Um, but you do what you got to do to get to your couples. And then if we keep coming all the way down, you get to Coringal, my little hometown. And then around here, you've got like the gutter bar. So up here is, where are we? Coringal, Moreton Bay rock oysters. Mwah, if you like your seafood. Reader's Point is really, really popular. Gutter bar. We've done a few out here and around here. And the great thing about Readers is, like I said in one of the earlier videos, this is my favorite spot on the island because I can watch sunrise from here, but I can also watch sunset from here. So if those sort of things are important to you, hit me up. And we also look directly at Straddie here. So back up, heading north, Sovereign Beach. This is what we call Eastern Beach or Jason Beach. We've done a few ceremonies along here. You've got the famous Rouse Battery. Jason Beach. And then you've got this is the track that goes through the middle of the island. So the Moreton Island Adventures or the MyCat comes in at Tangalooma Rex. And then you would head across middle, got all your camping. Come up here. And this is one of the spots I was talking about. Cape Cliff at Harper's Rock is a beautiful spot. The waves smash up against that cliff and it would just make for the most amazing photos. We haven't had a wedding there yet, so I'm hopeful. And then you've got your Cape Lighthouse, which is amazing for photos. You can't actually get married up there, unfortunately, due to the permit. But you can definitely head up there for photos, which we've got a couple on our inspiration. And then one of our most famous spots or popular spots is Honeymoon Bay. So that is a gorgeous little spot in there. You've got your North Point and Champagne pools. So generally with a honeymoon bay or a champagne pool ceremony, you would have your ceremony in the alcove here. And then Claire would set up your picnic or grazing or celebration out here. This also makes for the most amazing sunset and sunrise photos. And then you can either take the inland track or tide dependent. You would come down here. This is your camping zones. So many options. And if we just keep going around the island, we come down to Bulwer. So with Bulwer, there are amazing little spots along here, but one of the most popular is the Bulwer Rex. And so this is what I was talking about before, where you can, when the tide's out, you can actually stand in the middle of the Rex. So you've got these beautiful, I guess, backdrop. Yeah, so you've got the gorgeous backdrop. I mean, I'm biased. I love Moreton Island. Every spot is beautiful. But yeah, that makes for some amazing photos, which I'll go through with you. Down to Cowan Cowan. Cowan Cowan is the only place on the island that has direct beach access from properties. So that is something to consider if you are looking at hiring a house and you want direct beach access. So with Bulwer, you kind of set back a street, same with Coringal, but with Cowan Cowans, these houses all have direct beach access. So there's a couple that we recommend up there to private hire. That's all on our accommodation links. And yeah, it makes for some beautiful photos. And then we come back down. You've got all your camping sites. And then we come back down to where the ferry comes in. So that's where the ferry comes in at the Tangalooma Rex. Very, very, very popular spot here. So we generally wouldn't get a permit approved for where the barge comes in. There's just too many cars, too many people. The same with this spot here. This is where Sunset Safari is set up for all their adventures and their groups. So we would generally be looking at the areas south of the Rex here, anywhere from there to the north boundary, or from the south boundary to these first couple of campsites is generally a good walking distance if you have no transport. So that's just to give you a really quick behind the scenes around the island. If we go back to our inspiration, so these are north boundary. These guys just eloped with their one set of parents. That was gorgeous. We had these guys came in on a cruise. Rained for our poor guys, but it was absolutely beautiful. So this is one of the campsites just north of the boundary. We set them up with an arbor for their ceremony and a gazebo for the rain. It did rain on their day, unfortunately. We couldn't avoid it, but these guys made the most of it. They looked absolutely beautiful. These guys came in on a cruise. It was just the two of them. So I supplied two witnesses. We had Mandy, the photographer, and my sister actually came over for the day. Um, and we stayed at the resort for a night, made a girls' trip out of it. And Mandy and my sister were their witnesses. They had the most amazing day. Really, really fun. These guys brought two friends over. They stayed at the resort. We supplied witnesses for these guys. They just came over with their kids. That was a big group. We did that at the North Boundary. These guys all were staying in the resort. They had cars, but they just wanted to walk down, get married. They didn't have any arbor. They didn't have any picnic or anything like that. I just met them at the North Boundary with my PA system so everyone could hear. We did the ceremony. They shared the most beautiful vows, signed their paperwork on my car, and they were done. They were married and they just headed back into the resort and partied hard. These guys came over, just the two of them and their baby. This was a vow renewal, very exciting. That was their 10-year vow renewal. They wanted to share that with their kids. So wherever it's just the couple, we supply the witnesses. So you don't have to bring anyone over with you. This is just to give you some inspiration. So here's the south boundary again, like the most beautiful sunset photos, and it all depends on your photographer too. So what style or what vision of photography you like. Another south boundary. This one was working with KWP Studios. Um, these guys were amazing. They were so funny. She had a princess tiara. You should see the photos. They're amazing. These guys came in on a cruise with 30 people. I could not believe it that 30 people accompanied them on their cruise. And they were married at the South Boundary, but we actually, because of the size of the group, we moved it further south. So that was like an extra 10-minute walk for them. And it was just amazing. They had the most beautiful day. Another South Boundary, these guys actually booked out a campsite. And we got married just in front of the campsite, so off the road, well, off the sand road. But yeah, in front of the campsite was amazing. And that water was just magic. Another south boundary rain for these guys too, but oh my goodness, they as soon as the ceremony was over, everyone just started piss bolting down to the water, and I had to actually like, whoa, guys, hold up, and they're all looking at me like, what? We're not allowed to do this. I'm like, pockets, check for phones, keys, and the amount of people that got phones and keys and took shoes off, it was amazing. It was very fun, very good day. Another south boundary, it was gorgeous. These guys, Tangalooma Point, again, just the two of them. They ran away. I supplied the two witnesses. We took a couple of photos for them. They literally just the island was their oyster. They just spent the whole week traveling, adventuring, and we chose beautiful Tangalooma Point. It was gorgeous. Bulwer Rex. So when I mentioned before about getting married inside the Rex, this couple kind of stood to the outside of the Rex, but you can see the Rex in the background of their photos in some of them, which made beautiful. My Bulwer Rex boys, these guys were just the two of them. They stayed at Claire's house for their accommodation. They had the most beautiful picnic set up. We supplied the two witnesses. We had Jason Adams photography come over. It was an epic day. So much love for my boys. Oh, poor Rex. These guys were awesome. So again, you can kind of see the Rex in the background, different days, different photography styles. Another Bulwer Rex elopement. So these guys just brought their two babies over, and we had Hawthorne Creative did video and also photos and acted as our celebrants as well. So I was mic'd up in the rain. It did rain. We had umbrellas to cover all the legal paperwork, but oh my God, so much fun. And you can actually watch their video on YouTube. Some more Bulwer Rex. So this was one that we all stood in the middle of the Rex. Jason and Bronny actually stood in the water for their ceremony. It was such an epic day. These guys, I did before I actually moved. Like we had our house here, but we hadn't physically moved to the island yet. We were beside each other on the barge, but it was a surprise. I couldn't talk to them because all their guests just thought they were going on holiday. So that was pretty sneaky. It was pretty cool. We were all on the same barge together. Epic day. And I had to drag them out of the water so we could sign their paperwork. It was very funny. Honeymoon Bay, gorgeous spot. There's so many beautiful alcoves up there. And they actually went up to the lighthouse for their photos as well. Another Honeymoon Bay couple, gorgeous sunset photos. Another Honeymoon Bay. So we actually did the signing up the top of the hill, which was really cute. We just wanted some shade. It was super, super hot. And they got some gorgeous photos up there. Another one in the alcove at Honeymoon Bay. Magical sunsets. Honeymoon Bay. Eastern Beach. These guys came over just for two of them. With their gorgeous little picnic set up. So they stayed at the resort, but they drove across Middle Track and down Eastern. We found a little secluded spot for them. And we had Claire and Sophia did this photography, and they were both our witnesses. Reader's Point, Kringle. And then we've also done yacht weddings. We've done Cowan Cowan property. So this photo here and this photo here is they had two adjoining Cowan Cowan properties. And this is literally where we got married, in their backyard overlooking the water. Just some styling from Sunset Picnics and Platters. But Claire's amazing. She'll work with all of your budget. So depending what you're after, how many people, what your vision is, she'll actually put together a package for you within your budget. This is just our Moreton Island Weddings brochure, which I'm sure you've downloaded. You've already got this, but it just goes through some little inspiration, some locations. You can actually click on this. It's all, if you click on the maps, it'll take you to the destination, copy of our video, some kind words, and some package examples, FAQs, what to do next. So one of the cruise ship arrivals, so we check your date and make sure that there's no cruise ship arrival on that. And we go through the logistics of why that is in our call. Um, but again, this doesn't matter if you're not getting married at one of the resort boundaries. It's just something to be mindful of that we double check. So that and sorry, and I've got like a whole heap of hair and makeup and photographer recommendations, but that is pretty much it. That's what we go through on our meeting. We talk about your vision, we talk about the logistics of the island, how to get your permit, why we need to get a permit, all those sort of things. So yeah, I'll see you on a call.